Hi, I'm Leah Louise from Inspired Quilting by Leah Louise. Welcome to my sewing room. This is step 2 of the tutorial for the Scrappy Batik 9-patch Rail Fence Quilt Block. We've already talked about how to cut your fat quarters into 2.5-inch strips or jelly rolls, and then we talked about how to combine multiple batik fat quarters together into one quilt, so we have a really good cohesive color scheme going. And also we need to include some low volume fabrics in there to create our rail fence. So with those strips cut, your fabrics are selected, you've got a great plan ahead of you. Now let's bring it all together. We're going to sew some strip sets, and once those strip sets are completed, then we're going to cut them and piece our block. So we're getting really close to the end of this quilt. I can't wait to show you what we have coming up. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your quilts when you get yours finished.
With your fat quarters cut into some strip sets, we're ready to put together our quilt block. This is, remember, the 9-patch rail fence block, and we're going to create strip sets in order to put this together. Now, the first thing we do is we're going to get 2 of our strips and sew them together like this. Then we're going to add a 3rd strip. So then, whoops, let's look at the right side here. Then we're going to do a 3rd, so we have 3 strips across. And so here's a number of them that I've done already. I also have one in the low volume, and you can see that's how this was put together. Talk a little bit first about how to choose your strips. Color-wise, it depends on how many different patterns you're going to use. I tend to put mine into piles: dark, medium, light, then small pattern, medium pattern, large pattern. I mix colors, and I kind of put them into different piles so that I know that when I mix some of these with this, I'm not going to be too similar. I can mix this with this, and it's not going to be too similar. So the first thing I do is I take my first 2 strips from whatever pile I'm going to do. You can go 1 this way, go diagonal, go across, whatever works for you. You just want to mix it up. Put 2 together, add your 3rd one, and then this is what you end up with. Now, we cut these to 20 inches. That means we're going to get 8 2.5-inch strip sets. If you were to cut one and then reset your strip, cut one, move it, every time you move it, you are offsetting the end, your seam allowance, just a little bit. And when you get to that last block, it's not going to be a full 2.5 inches. So my recommendation, lay it out in a place where you can cut it from beginning to end. So I'm going to start here. I lined it up. I've got it this way. I got it at a 0 point, so I can measure every 2.5, then 5 inches. I'm going to do my cross cuts this way. And again, count. Don't cut before you count. Make sure you're spot on. This way. I just bump that over so I can make sure I'm in the right place. Just go across. Each of these strip sets will give me 8 pieces. So out of these, I'm going to get 8 of the same unit. Once your strip sets are cut, it's time to begin putting the block together. We can take a couple strips, and you'll see you can flip the same one around, but you still don't want those repeating. So you want to mix these up, which is why I really like to have plenty to choose from. Now, we can go this way, have 2 darks on that side. You can put it this way. It's whatever your personal preference is. You don't have to get that particular. Everything's going to be different as far as the blocks, because we have so many different fabrics that you're not going to have to worry about that. One thing, though, that is going to be important is to nest your seams. And that means lining these seams up right on top of each other. And most importantly, the seam allowance goes in opposite directions. Can you see that? So the seam allowance goes in opposite directions. This is lined up. So when you open it, you get nice clear blocks like this with nice clean corners. So it's really important to go ahead and nest those seams for those blocks to look good. Now, what we need to do is piece this together. We're going to get a pair, and then we're going to add a low volume on top, and that's going to create our final block. This is what we're going to use to make our quilt. So decide on the size quilt you're going to make, and you can check out the chart that's in the blog post on the pattern, and that'll tell you exactly what you need. Get your blocks made, and in the next segment I'm going to show you how we're going to put the quilt together, how we're going to lay out the pattern, and get this finished. It's been fun showing you how to put this block together, and I'm anxious to see the finished product with you. Thank you so much and have a great day.